That's the sound of your current hype level at the gas pump. But brace yourself for something fuel nominal, because Unleaded 88 is about to take the hype to a whole new level. Unleaded 88 is cheaper, cleaner, and greener than regular unleaded. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So pump it up with Unleaded 88, brought to you by Iowa Corn.
At Baker's Pharmacy, care is what's most convenient for you. Care is being here when you need us. We're open evenings and weekends. Care is helping you save more. Most insurance plans and discount cards are accepted at your local Baker's Pharmacy. Care is saving you time by managing your prescriptions online. You can request refills, check order status, and more. Care is convenience that works for everyone. Baker's, a world of care is in store. Services and availability vary by location. Age and other restrictions may apply. For coverage, consult your health insurance company. Visit the pharmacy or our site for details.
Hey everybody, Chris here. I just want to take a second to spotlight this week's Bodega Sync indie artist, and that artist is Bryce Green. And the track today is Boom, featuring 81M. Those are his producers. Let me tell you a little bit about Bryce. Bryce Green is a rapper, singer, and one of the most exhilarating hip-hop artists to emerge on the scene, whose fierce lyricism, electrifying charisma, and melodic singing set fire to any scene. Paired with the aforementioned production duo 81M, these guys are capable of anything. His hard-hitting rap anthem Boom has been used in the series Rookie Feds and Bel Air, and has had two other songs used in national commercials for Pizza Hut. So Boom hasn't been in the Pizza Hut commercials, but he's had two other songs of his in these Pizza Hut commercials. So he's well on his way, and you may have even heard Boom even before you hear it in today's episode. And just to remind everybody, we give you a little taste of it on the front end, and then we play the entire song at the end of the podcast. So if you don't want to hear me and Nick talk about film and want to go straight to Bryce's track, you can go right to the end if you want to and listen to that. That's all good with us. So how do you support Bryce? That's the question. Really easy. Facebook, you can find him at Bryce X Green. So that's BRYCE capital X GREEN. And you can follow him and support him on Instagram at Bryce Green Mojo. So same spelling as before, but the ending is MOJO, Bryce Green Mojo on Instagram. Please go support him and listen to his track. Send it to as many people as you know if you like it. These are all indie artists that are scratching and clawing their way, trying to make a way for themselves, trying to get their art into as many hands and ears and hearts as possible. So without further ado, please enjoy this indie talk with Nick and yours truly. Hello, Chris here with another episode of the Make It podcast. And this is an Indie Talk week, and that means I have my good friend and co-founder with me, Nicholas Bugs. Nick, what up? What's happening, man?
Everything, brother. Everything. I was going to make sure people understand, I'm going to wear my black today because I enjoy it. I think I look good in it, especially around this background I got going on here. But these T-shirts almost always say something. I just got to make sure people see it.
Yep, choose happy.
100%. Choose happy. You see my dog tag there too, bro? I got to let you know.
Memorial Day.
Bro, got to get it. You see it?
Oh, G.I. Joe. Is that also?
Exactly.
There
you go.
Are you celebrating Duke?
Hey,
are you celebrating Flint?
I'm a big fan of Snake Eyes, man. So for the people who are listening and can't see, I got that dog tag G.I. Joe around my neck because for two things.
I want you to know that they didn't actually serve.
Hey, what are you talking about? Don't even trip. G.I. Joe was a thing, a real American hero, right? Don't get it twisted. Yeah. And Snake Eyes was my dude. So that was my guy. So yeah, I'm repping Choose Happy and the real American hero,
which
G.I. Joe is there.
Fake. But
what are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about. It's not fake. It's just a cartoonization of a legitimate, squad. A secret.
For this audience, we're recording on March March. We're recording on May. I wish it were still March.
Yeah, I know. Like,
May 23rd. And Memorial Day is coming up. And by the time you listen to this, it will have passed. I hope you guys all have a wonderful Memorial Day. If you know someone who served, my grandfather was in the Army for 20 years. And my grandfather on the other side was not in the U.S. Army, so I guess it doesn't count. But he was a military man as well in France. And so, I don't need to go into that any deeper. But
I got family in the military as well.
You got the military family as well.
Yeah, man.
And listen, I'm not a G.I. Joe hater. I grew up with that, man. It's so weird. Have you heard of these people? It's not even these people, because I'm one of them. It's like there's this idea, this sort of phenomenon where you are rooting more for the villain in a movie or show than the hero. And when I grew up, I was one of those people. I really was rooting hardcore for Storm Shadow. Like I loved Storm Shadow. That was my favorite G.I. Joe of all the G.I. Joes I owned. I loved the Crimson Twins as well.
Those two guys, man, the numb nuts.
Yeah, I didn't like Cobra Commander that much
because he's annoying. His voice is one of the most annoying, most grating things that you could ever listen to in the history of the world. And you wanted to see this dude's face so bad. You're like, who is this little Starscream punk? I'm with you.
It's probably not as annoying as like Jim Carrey screeching in Dumb and Dumber, but it's probably right on that, maybe on that level for you. But here's the thing I thought with Cobra Commander was, how did he come to power? He never displayed even the level of wickedness and sheer might that is required to run an evil, organization.
Well, Hitler was quite demure. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, like, but he's just a really good orator.
Hitler, had the wickedness and evil that gave him that power.
I think he Cobra sent Commander people was to wicked.
Death.
I think Cobra Commander was wicked. I think he was evil. And then it's the same way. So if you flip Cobra Commander into the Batman thing, right? Let me explain this to you real quick.
Okay.
So what makes Batman special?
He didn't kill people.
He's rich. Like that's he can make anything, I thought what made him different is he has a philosophy. Well, all the superheroes have a philosophy, right? They none of them kill anybody, which is why Deadpool was created. It's the anti-hero, right? So it's the hero anti-hero. No, he didn't kill anybody. Well, actually, they had that one movie where at the end it did happen, right? But normally he doesn't. But look, what I'm saying is that he has all the money, Batman, and he can get all the cool toys. Like, remember? Like,
the superpower says he's rich.
Wonderful toys. That's Cobra Commander. Cobra Commander wanted to do some evil stuff, and he had a hype man and he had a hype woman who were like, yo, bro, you got like all the money in the world. Let's like steal stuff. Let's like blow stuff up. Let's like take over the world. And he's like, yes. They're like, we got you, bro. Like, we got your back. We got minions. We got all this stuff.
Are you talking about blue Cobra Commander or gold Cobra Commander?
I'm talking about blue Cobra Commander because
blue Cobra Commander is the one I want to know about. So how did he get his wealth? I would be interested. I
would watch that movie.
How did he come to power with the skill sets that we got to see him have on the cartoon?
I would love to see that.
Storm Shadow, I want to know who broke you, who hurt you, where you turned to evil.
He did.
Right? Because he clearly is a good guy.
Yeah.
Who has a real skill set and a real philosophy, but he's working for Cobra Commander and he kind of is doing it begrudgingly. Like maybe he's a communist. He's like, you know what? Just down with America.
Hey, well, they're doing a prequel of Transformers. Right. So, and that's animated.
Yep.
So they're going to do that. And that's coming out.
I hope they don't ruin
I would love to see a prequel of G.I. Joe that is really
every
all
G.I.
about,
Joe movie's been terrible so far.
Yeah, exactly. But I want an animated one. So that's the other part. They keep doing these live action joints. Give me an animated one that goes into the backstory of the people, basically all of them.
Yes.
Because I really want to see when, Cobra Commander turned, and I want to know why he wears that mask. I don't know if they might have revealed it. I don't remember, but I like the backstory on that too.
Speaking of your dress, people might be wondering why I'm not dressed a little bit more casually. I had a little engagement before I came here, and I literally just sat down and let's start recording.
Yeah, let's do this.
Like we didn't have time for me to do anything else. I'm literally coming from a board meeting to this thing and this thing.
Come on, man. Come and hang out with me.
This pod. I love this pod, right? I love hanging out with you. But that's why I'm all dressed up, and that just wasn't worth it to change and then take the time it would take to do that and then get back in here. So here I am. Is what it is. I hope you like it. If you don't,
I enjoy it.
Sorry.
I enjoy it.
It is what it is. Speaking of engagements, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, go for it.
Speaking of engagements, so me and one of our mutual homies went to the Kennedy concert, rally, comic show or whatever at the Ryman Auditorium. Famous Ryman. If for those who don't know what the Ryman is, it's called the Mother Church. Johnny Cash has been on that stage. Elvis has been on that stage. I mean, it's maybe the most famous concert hall on the planet, arguably. And so we're in there supporting Kennedy. And I thought it was really interesting so first of all, let me just say this. I was including the one black comic that got on stage. I was one of maybe 5 black people that were there in total. So Kennedy's got some work to do in the African-American community. 2, people really do vote their interests. And we're going to talk a lot today about why people do things against their interest in film and what people are doing in their interest in film, or what they think they're doing in their interest in film as well throughout. So before I pivot this into film, I'll give you just a quick example of what I'm talking about. Okay. Every time one of the comedians came up, and there were some big comedians there. There was Rob Schneider. There was Jim Brewer from Saturday Night Live fame. Yep. Love Rob Schneider.
That's right. The Gregory story, bro. I mean, you don't have to get into it, but go ahead.
Yep. And Russell Brand was there and just crushed it. And those are very polarizing people. And, my political views aren't everyone on this podcast's political views or whatever. And I really don't have a political view as much as just hey man, our choices are limited. I wish there were a lot of more people running for president. We had a bigger pool, but we just don't. So anyway, every time one of the comedians would bring up either crypto or the vaccine, near standing ovation claps. And I just thought it was fascinating that people just vote their interests so heavily. And I guess I shouldn't act as if I'm surprised by that. I've done political things. I've worked in the political space before and in the past, but it never ceases to amaze me that of all the topics, the range of topics that get brought up and how broad you need to be as a presidential candidate to really be an effective president should you be elected, that the only thing that gets this group really riled up is crypto and everyone was wrong about the vaccine. And it's it's more, there's so much more to the job than this, guys. We need to appreciate him for what he can do more broadly. These are incredibly niche topics. And it feels like the crowd there didn't fully understand how niche those topics can be. I appreciate anyone that has an opinion on both of those things because I'm involved in both of those things personally. But that's not the point I'm making. I'm just simply saying, let's clap for the economy. Let's clap for his balanced budget plan too. let's not be like cricket silent when we talk about women's rights. like let's have some cheers for some other stuff. And I'm not saying no one clapped at those things, but it was just, you could tell the difference between the claps for those two topics versus like, other topics. And I just found it fascinating. And I'll say one more thing about, this is an opinion and a belief I have of the Kennedy campaign. If he could have one wish granted by a magical Kennedy genie, it would probably be to bring his father back. But if he had another wish, it would be to distance himself from the vaccination topic. And because he has his heels dug in so deep over the last 2 decades in this, he can't escape it. He can't escape it. And he just wants to get further and further away from it. Because it alienates him and puts him in this conspiracy theorist box. And you can't win in that box because you have to really appease a large group of people in the United States in order to win an election. So just my 2 cents on that, in general. And we'll talk a little bit about our own interest as filmmakers, as creatives, and why we do the things we do. Before I hop into that, though, have you seen the Netflix series Baby Reindeer?
No, I have not. Now, listen,
have you heard of this?
I've heard of it. Of course, I've heard of it. It's like going to be like the number one most watched thing on Netflix, regardless of what it's series, movie, what a short, right? This is it. But I have looked into, the person who created it, and it's interesting the past that he's had as not just a comedian, because I think that's maybe what people might have known him for prior. And I think that's what, they're saying. He's a comedian, right? But I don't, it's almost like, the comedy is a mechanism, one of the many mechanisms that he has as an artist to put his artwork out there. But it's really interesting to see some of the stuff that he did. I think he comes out of, drama school and so he's educated in this space, but he's done this whole performance art, on stage. He's mixed the stage stuff with stuff that he's done with the film side of the, he mixes all this stuff together. But he's done it in a way that is a personal expression of his own life. Yes. So Baby Reindeer is no different, right, than anything he's been doing on stage for the past X number of years. He's always said, hey, look, I'm a middle-class guy, but I live a life that makes no sense for a middle-class guy. Like, the stuff I've been through, it's not normal. And
you won't be
I need to talk about it. Oh, well, he definitely won't be. But I think that's the idea, is that he's like, I'm a middle-class dude. I grew up a middle-class guy, but like my life was crazy.
Producer Papa Bear, give us this guy's name. Richard Gadd. Thank you.
There you go. There it is.
Producer Papa Bear.
Yeah,
Richard
but
Gadd.
anyway,
yeah, he won't be middle class over this, man.
He won't. And but one of the things that he said is that he wasn't necessarily prepared for this level of fame. Like, he's accomplished, right? It's not like he's a slouch by any means. The stuff that he did prior to this put him on the map, right? But ever since Baby Reindeer, he said people see him, right? Like when he's on the airplane, I think he said it, he's like, I was on the plane and the pilot came back to say hi to me. Right. That's not the level of fame that he had before, even though he had a lot of success. He's like, now they want to say hi to me. So now it's a totally different thing. It makes him uncomfortable, right? He's like, this isn't who I am. This is really weird for me.
Do you have the faintest idea as to why this is happening? Netflix probably be their most watched show ever.
Yeah, exactly.
He's getting the pilot. He's the showrunner.
Yeah.
He's got a pilot coming back to say hi to him. Do you have a sense of why? Because I can share it with you without ruining the series
please.
for you.
Please do. But I understand that, like, again, this is number one right now. Everybody's talking about it. And not only are people talking about it, but because the person right? The stalker, right? The person that is in this or depicted in this story is a real person and
Ding,
is
ding,
alive, right? And is being pursued by, what Piers Morgan did an interview, right? Like people want to know about this person. So there's a real life thing happening as well. So there's a lot of attention. Not only people like the show, but that people also like the idea of, hey, there are real people involved in this.
So it's a form of IP, right? And
intellectual property.
Yep. People love that. And it just, it's just going to deepen the industry's hunger for more things that are based on real things. I think there's always been a pretty healthy hunger for that. But in terms of, what people will look for in a time of contraction, right? Like where the industry is contracting a bit and opportunities. From everybody I'm hearing, I had a conversation with a very, very, very successful cinematographer last week. And he's like, send me any jobs that are coming through the PGA. I'll travel anywhere. That's how bad it is. So they will be looking for more things that are real. Okay. Instead of
this is also true crime.
Instead
and people
of
have an appetite for that.
Exactly.
Bro. Like that is
they love it. And more than I'll tell you about that in a second, because that's the second ding ding. And so if people are out there just ding ding from a dum dum, those people who are writing pure fiction, they'll have maybe a harder time with the success of something like this. But anyway, so yes, it's real, but what this show pulls off, and kudos to Netflix for marketing the heck out of it. Mm-hmm. And the reason there might have been some trust because he's done all this stuff in the past. He has 30 past titles, but it was really the conceit of the story and Bible here that won the day. And the fact that he's always been working, right? So they can count on him. Like to do the
this
work.
Is what he does.
Like and I'm speaking to sort of indie writers and indie filmmakers there about like kind of how these, how a network would view you, right? It's always like, okay, I didn't like the screenplay. Where's your next one? And if you don't have the next one, it's like, are you really a writer? Or did you write one thing? Right. So, which is a huge, big question because the turnarounds are fast. But anyway, the conceit of it is so good because they kind of trick you. They tell you it's about this thing, and that's the thing everybody sees that's in the story. That's Piers Morgan. It's the lady. It's really about another thing that I'm not going to give away, and how it turned into and allowed him to accept the thing that everybody knows about. Okay? And that's the hidden part inside, and I've never seen a show do this the way this did it because it was so real and accurate to what I've seen and read. I haven't gone through anything like this necessarily. I have had some moments like this when I was in my 20s being a creative, but it's like if you're in film and if you're a creative, you are so susceptible, and this doesn't give anything away for those who haven't watched it necessarily, but it's just a theme. We are so susceptible to sharks and abusers because we want so badly to have acceptance. We want so badly to be told we're good, that we're talented, and we want so badly to be successful and to some degree to be famous. And the thematic question that comes out of it is how far will you let something go, or will you go to be famous or get what you want? And it's sort of like top of the mind too, right? We have what's going on with P. Diddy and the people that protected him, or the people that were in his space and were, and maybe, some of these things that happen, we hear about, like, okay, you got to do something here to get something over here. Harvey Weinstein was known for this. Okay, well, you want to be in this movie, come to my hotel room so we can do a read together. It's like, okay, like little weird. Kevin Spacey Unmasked documentary on Max. I've been watching that. I love Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey, he is a hurt person. Hurt people. And for him, he sort of had the same playbook. Okay, here, come meet me here. Come do this with me. And the whole thing is, well, I'm never going to say no to you. You're Kevin Spacey. You're like my entry into this. And I'm willing to do the stuff that people were willing to do for and with Kevin Spacey in order to have the opportunity to be Kevin Spacey is remarkable.
So let's stop right there, right? Let me just jump in on that.
Yeah,
because that's a talk track that I have very often about this space. And this is the part of the balance between necessarily someone being predatory and someone being honest. Okay.
Yep.
So there is that. Let's just talk about the honesty part.
Yep.
The predatory part is already out there. Everybody knows what that is, right? So P. Diddy, Kevin Spacey, all the things you just mentioned, and then people's thoughts about, oh my gosh, you preyed on these people, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about being honest. And the honest part is, I'm going to tell you what I want, right? I want that visit to the hotel room to do these things.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to tell you in my honest way, which P. Diddy and others could have also done, in addition to the predatory crap that they did, they could have been honest. This is what I want. In return, I will give you what you want.
Yeah.
And that's what it gets back to what you said about, well, what are you willing to give? Yeah. And if you're willing, right, you're not coerced, you're not drugged into this, but you make a decision that you're going to do the thing that they want to get what you want. You can't come back 20 years later and be like, he did whatever to me. No. Yeah. You made that choice. And now that your choice is, it turns out that the zeitgeist says you never should have done that. And now this person is being brought up on charges for whatever. You think you can get your paper and be like, well, he made me or he didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a certain percentage, and I don't know what that is. Neither of us do.
Yeah.
But there's a certain percentage of people, and I'm not just talking about women, right? It's men, it's women, it's everything in between.
Well, Spacey was all men. Yeah.
And that's what has made a decision that they wanted to give something to get something. And I think that's the hard part. That's the part that hasn't translated well, I think, in the media, because I think that what's happening in the media is they're focused on the predatory nature of it. Not to give to get. Exactly, the part that sells, not the part that says, no, half of these people gave it away.
Yeah.
Right. And because they gave it away, these people that you think are predators took it. But there was a quid pro quo, right? They got the interview, they got the job, they got the whatever they were looking for in return for what they were willing to give up. So I'd like to see more stories about that.
Well, it's interesting because there are people who would say that even the request or hint at quid pro quo is wrong.
Let's flip it.
If you're in a position of power, you should not request a quid pro quo arrangement.
What if you're not the one? What if the person in power isn't the one requesting it? What if it's the person?
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. So now I'm coming to you, right? I'm like, hey, Diddy, look, this is the deal, bro. I'll do what you want. I'll do whatever if I can get this job.
Right.
Nobody's talking about those people because those people aren't coming forward. Right. They're not. So what I'm saying is that even that then creates or has the power to either create or further empower a predator because they're saying, well, look, I got 500 people willing to give it up. So instead of waiting for them to tell me they're willing to give it up, I'm just going to ask for it. I mean, the person could say no. Right. But again, some of these are straight up predators and they're, spiking people's punch and shit. And that's
some of it's very,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, spiking people's punches is sort of like a Darren Sharper thing. Like that's like I'm really out here being a predator. Like I really am like, sort of intentionally leaving the house to do a thing the way that a serial killer would or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's exactly how I see it. You got
but a lot of these predators are living in this gray area of, I don't know who to trust. Everybody
Right.
wants something from me, and I need a test to sort of figure out who's in my circle or not, because I haven't learned the communication skill of saying no, don't want it. No, not interested. No. And then I also want something myself, truly. And so, and so while I don't believe in that, what I've seen in these documentaries and some of these stories, and what you'll see in Baby Reindeer, is like that predator or groomer or abuser or whatever remains in contact. So I view a predator as someone who comes and stabs you and leaves and you never see them again. Yeah. Right. These are people who stay and remain in your life and consider you a friend and consider you a companion. Right. So we saw the awful video with Diddy being insanely abusive to Cassie. That was his girlfriend, his longtime girlfriend.
Yeah.
That wasn't like he didn't go out of the hotel to go find a random girl and then try to keep her from leaving. This is what complicates the situation. All these Spacey people, they were around Spacey. They called each other. They were friends. They had long conversations. They had intimate conversations. They had laughs. They had drinks. This is what that gray is about. And that's what Baby Reindeer does so well. I know for us, we've been taken advantage of in the film business in a financial way, but it all is it's different shades of the same animal, right? Where it's like somebody wants something so badly that everything that comes out of a person's mouth, we want it to be true so badly, right?
I mean, we love your stuff. It's
and not
so
necessarily
great.
me or you, but some of the people we work with who we love, we're like, okay, man, this guy is saying he's going to do this thing, and he loves our stuff, and this is what we've all wanted. This is success. We're going to make so much money. And if it's too good to be true, folks, it just most of the time it just is. And so just keep that in mind. I do have an example though. Recently, Terrence Howard, the actor, brilliant actor, was on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Wait. Now, is Terrence Howard? You said actor. Like I think he's an actor. I think he's a producer. I think he's a director. I think he's a singer, songwriter, inventor. Like poet, I think like this guy's got every, you just keep
wizard,
commas, right?
Madman in the best possible way.
All the things, prophet, maybe. I don't
prophet,
know.
Maybe. Because he did claim to have a dream where he saw the layout of the universe. And he got to see everything. And that's where all his ideas come from. Yeah, we laugh at that, but then we take, as Bible, Steve Jobs saying he dropped acid with Billy Corgan and they came up with the iPod. How's it different? They're both dream states.
He was on the astral plane, my brother.
Oh, Steve. So Steve made an iPod. So now we're all going to take ayahuasca.
Right.
Like it became a thing after that. We believe him. But Terrence Howard sees the dream. We're like, oh, that guy is whack. It's the same.
Exactly. He's all the things. I just wanted to make that note.
But here's what he said to support what you said earlier.
Okay.
He had a woman, and I don't want to talk about all the stuff he said in there. It's too much. It's 3 hours, inventions, amazing stuff. Everybody should watch it.
Watch what? Put us in on it.
The podcast with Joe Rogan. Yeah.
There you go.
That's what I'm saying. So we'll watch that. He mentioned stuff about film in there. That's the part I want to pull out for this audience.
Let's do it.
So the first thing, supporting what you said, he had a woman. I think he was sort of intimating or stating that they didn't have sex because they were on a Jehovah's Witness path together.
Okay.
And when things didn't work out, she started taking pictures of herself looking like she was beat up. He said she would literally paint under her eyes black. And it damaged his brand. It damaged his credibility, and it damaged his career in a significant way. He's 55 years old. When he was 46, he was 256 pounds. He had put on all that weight in this really dark spot. And he credits his current wife, for pulling him out of that and helping him he looks so good. And he smokes. He looked incredible for his. I mean, just looked so great. And here's somebody that wants something from you,
Right.
and you say no, and then they f you over because of the zeitgeist you talked about, Nick.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And it's crazy that he had to go through that. And it's good that he had someone to bring him through that, because I don't know that everyone does. And I think, and it's interesting because I think what we know of him, I don't think that he would ever present as a victim, right? He presents a story because he has overcome, he's off to doing other things, and the universe probably made things play out the way that they needed to for him, but he never played, as a victim in that situation, just stating facts. And it's crazy that people would do that, right? People that close to you or that you think are that close to you.
Bro.
And that's why you got to be careful, man, about, who's in your circle.
Some of this stuff is unavoidable, man. I got sent a documentary by an independent filmmaker from Ohio. I can't remember his name. And shout out to that filmmaker. I want to say his name is Peter John, maybe. I got to look it up. But he sent me a documentary about an internet troll who's on the internet right now to this day. Gets a crazy engagement on his Facebook page. Homeless, delusions of grandeur is what this guy has. But the documentary illustrates the fact that in 2024, if somebody wants to mess with you hardcore, they can with zero retribution. Somebody can stalk you. They can call your job. Because of the internet, they can find out, they can find out anything they want about you, about your family, about your family that lives elsewhere. They can drive to those places, be in those places, call those people and harass them. And baby Reindeer touches on that as well.
Yeah,
the fact that we are in an age where there are more protections for the internet troll or stalker than there is for the victim. And because we're in an age where it's uber competitive and people would rather be done with you than introduce drama into their company and life, they ditch you.
Yeah. I mean,
we're in an
really
age where people believe what they're told. This internet troll got online and called these people, the media, these reporters, these individual people that were in the documentary, called them pedos, called them all these names, said they were into all these crimes, said they had embezzled money. This guy created a fake newspaper that looked like a real newspaper online, looked like a real online newspaper, but it was fake, had terrible. You had to read it to know. People don't read.
Right. People don't read. Exactly. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's why they put the best information in books.
Exactly.
People
I just had that conversation with
Yeah.
my son. I was like, you want to know how to hide knowledge from people? You put it
in a
books.
book. So
right.
people had to read to find out, this guy can't write. There's misspellings. There's all this. Nobody's seeing that. You're seeing the headline. Like, Jane Doe does this. And you're like, I know Jane Doe. I'm not messing with her anymore.
Right. Yeah.
And it is so sad where we're at because of that. It is so sad that we're in this place. Now, these people seem to have gotten out from under it reputationally, but their lives were put through hell for years.
Yeah. And that's why
years.
I tell you, man, hey, look, for me, like I have no, again, you know me, it's more about service to others than anything else. But like, I don't want to be famous, I'd rather just be influential. Right. That's my thing. Like if I can influence people's lives, if I can do that, like let me be behind the curtain. And I know that I can't, right? I can't 100% be behind the curtain where nobody sees me because then I can't exert that influence. But I don't want to be famous, man. I just want to be influential because I don't want people thinking that they can get something, right? They want something from me. I'm not that guy. I don't have nothing to give you, right? But maybe a little bit of love, like this. So
exactly,
right. So
and more than anything, just be kind to each other, folks. Like, let's try to have a civilization. Let's try to have some humanity. And if you do something wrong, it's okay to say sorry. And if you have to pay some dues for it, pay your dues. But I think you have to. I think sorry goes a long. The real apology goes a long way.
Well, I was going to say,
and real comeuppance and real regret for actions and real admittance
Well, comeuppance, I think, is the key.
Goes a long way with people, right?
The comeuppance is key, bro, because you just said apologies. Ain't nobody taking Diddy's apology right now. he can do whatever.
Now.
Everybody thinks that fake. Exactly, because it didn't happen.
But they will eventually.
Well, I don't even know. I think
and
maybe
it depends. And sometimes an apology isn't. It's not going to work for him now. One, because he has the king of the internet trolls, 50 Cent, making sure people don't take his apology in the black community for sure.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, 50's about to release a documentary on him. Mm-hmm. So what's genius about it is him trolling Diddy is marketing for his new doc.
Yeah, but have you heard, we won't go there because we got other stuff to talk about. But what's crazy is that some of the conversation around the people who are around Diddy that are either no longer with us or had very close brushes with death. Right. Yeah. And one of them is, of course, your doppelganger, I'll be sure. Yep. Like, this dude had a stroke out of nowhere. Right.
Yep.
And what's going on? But anyway, it's crazy. It's difficult for him to apologize when, the dude's house was raided. All this stuff is happening.
Because I followed that I'll be sure strokes stuff for a long time. It felt like that was organic. That was real. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff that happens around a lot of powerful people.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
That's true. By the way, when I was in high school, people would call me I'll be sure. Yeah, that's what Nick is talking about. It used to be my nickname in high school. Or what is it now? They say Al B.
That's right. Was it now Russell
Wilson? Yeah, Russell. That's right. Famously shut down at TJ Maxx Home Goods.
Yep, there you go. Oh my God. Is that Russell Wilson? Is that
this was me 30 pounds ago, and a lot more strong. You'll see that version of me soon.
You mean? But wait, Chris, are you telling me that I might happen to see another version of you?
Another. Should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed.
Shameless plug, brother.
Shout out to another version of you. Shout out to Maki Depp. Shout out to David Perry and Ryan Hartsock. CJ Perry.
Amazing film.
Chris
if you haven't seen it, then you should watch it.
Go watch another version of you if you haven't seen it. Perfect date movie.
Exactly.
You'll love it. So all right. So let me just put a bow on this real quick.
Please do.
We talked about Baby Reindeer. I just want to put a bow on the Terrence Howard pieces. These are just quick lessons because he didn't talk about film in his career almost at all in these 3 hours.
Okay.
Just a few nuggets. One, he talked about when his agent at the time, Charles King, shout out to Charles King, went to Vanderbilt University.
Charles D. King.
But he was, if that's the same one, he was his agent at the time. And he basically says that Charles had a bad reaction to a negotiation with Marvel, and that's why he wasn't in the next Marvel films, and Don Cheadle was instead. Basically, he had a 3-film deal, he says, and they wanted to negotiate him down from $8 million for the second film down to $1 million. Mm-hmm. And I think his agent said F you and hung up or something like that. And that cost him reputation and relationship in the film. And so the lesson there is make sure you're represented the right way and make sure you have a conversation about how to sort of handle these situations. I've been through this one time when I was in music. And for those who have listened to this podcast a long time know that I've mentioned my music ad nauseum, but I've been a lot better about it lately.
I'm nauseated.
I had a manager named Marcus. Marcus, shout out to Marcus. I won't say his last name. Shout out to Marcus if you're out there listening, bro. I love you. I hope you're doing all right. But I did not love what he did when we were negotiating price on some recordings we did at a studio. And I went to go pick up these recordings, and I thought everything was all good. Like I'd made friends with everybody in that place. And they were all giving me sort of the cold shoulder and like kind of being weird around. I was like, what's going on here? I didn't know what was going on. And they handed me the recordings. And at the time, these are like giant DAT boxes, right? Like DAT tape, DAT. For musicians will know what I'm talking about. But that's what you used to record on. That would be like your master file. Well, when you went back to play them, they were all erased. It was just white noise. And I was furious. And I went back. I was like, what happened? He goes, well, ask your manager. It turns out he cursed them all out, was yelling about the money, threatening them, belittling them.
and it's just no way to handle business. And if I had known that's the kind of negotiator he was, he would have just been my friend and not my manager.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Well, let me drop this for you real quick, because
drop a deuce on it.
And it's not devil's advocate, right? Necessarily, but not for your boy, but for Charles D. King. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that we all have these moments. Mm-hmm. All right. Sometimes we do have
apologize what I just talked about.
Yeah, exactly. You have moments of weakness. These things can happen. And I think that, because of what we know of Charles D. King and where he's gone, the things that he's been able to accomplish, he's killing it in the industry, then it would suggest that he has mended some of those, wounds that he created in a moment of weakness, right?
Yep.
And we all have those
from one side.
Exactly. But we all have those, right?
Yep.
And hopefully, again, he's mended those things. But yeah, we all have these moments of weakness that, make us not do the thing that we know we should do because we did the thing that we felt at the moment, right? I think that's the thing. So, yeah.
The only other thing he talked about in film was his Robert Downey Jr. story. And I thought it was fascinating. Someone needs to verify if it's true or not, because the claim is kind of enormous, right?
Significant.
He's basically saying that he had a $4 million contract and he took a $1 million restructuring to get Robert's bail paid so that he could audition for Iron Man. And then when he needed Robert, when he was being pushed out of the next Marvel film, he said he called him 27 times and Robert just ghosted him. If I give a man $1 million, he better work at the phone company.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like he not pick up my call, bro.
Right.
You need to go get a job at AT&T.
Right. You better answer my phone call, man. You better be in between.
You better be.
You better answer the phone before I call you.
Telepathically know I'm about to call you. Hello.
Exactly.
You were about to call me, right?
Right.
27 times, and then he said when he saw him again, he had Empire, the show Empire, that was hugely successful.
Mm-hmm.
Terrence Howard had. And, he's back on his feet. And Robert said, hey, it all worked out, right? And I will just say that, that is way too common in our business. So, again, there are good guys and good girls and bad guys and bad girls, whatever. But one of the biggest sins of all good people in the industry and all types of people in the industry is that we ghost. And we just sort of play this game. And there's a game that gets played where it's like, hey, is my stuff good? Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I mean, no, it wasn't good. There's this game, that gets played. And there's a lot of different ways it gess played. Yeah, let's do lunch. Let's do that. You're never going to do lunch. Never. There's just code words and you just know what it means. And I think it's because everybody's on the hunt. Everybody wants something from somebody. And when you don't have anything to give someone or they don't have anything to give you, I don't have time. We got to move forward because the dream's too big and it's too hard.
Yeah.
But the way we handle it, it sucks.
Yeah, that is tough because you're sacrificing those relationships. Well, you're sacrificing those relationships for what it is that you want or need at the moment. And like you said, it's one-sided discussion. It's hard to postulate on it without having Robert Downey Jr.'s perspective on it as well.
Got to know if it's true first.
Yeah, it could be true, but the other side of the coin is that we don't know. The $1 million might have gotten him out of jail, but it might not have fed him.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So there's this whole other picture in his head that he's got about what happened and where he was when those phone calls came in, right? Who knows what that situation is? Man. So it's crazy.
Just be good to each other, and let's try to have a good industry and try to really give someone a useful note and a useful. And I'm not talking about anything personal. I'm just saying, and I'm not perfect. If I've ghosted you, my bad. If I did that to you, if I've done that to you, because it's not intentional. because sometimes it's not intentional. But in general, I think, let's just try to be good to each other because the world's against us anyway as creatives. Everybody just wants you to go get a desk job. So you get to do what you want to do. So let's try hard to stick together. And if somebody's not good enough or doesn't have their stuff together, let's find a better way to help them move forward.
So that's a good segue, man, because, I think, you're good at segues and I appreciate it. I think you pitched that to me without even knowing, that's the beautiful thing about it. So real briefly, we don't have to get into
it's a big
deep.
By the way.
It is huge. There's a lot of coconut going on or something.
Every time I drink from it, it covers my whole face. Look at this shit.
It does. It's just a lot of liquid going on there. I've got my own beverage. I'll talk about that later. But anyway, so good segue into this idea. There's this thought that I had. And you talk about being good to each other. Mm-hmm. Right. And I've noticed as of late, because I look at a lot of different things and I'm looking at what's happening.
You're Pornhub. You're looking at things.
Never that. Never that. I'm just checking to make sure. I'm just checking to make. Hey, listen. I'm just checking to make sure that my wife isn't looking for black Crocs on. So here, right.
Have you ever heard David Tell's joke on Crocs? By the way,
no, I no.
David Tell, famous comedian, all-time great comedian, one of the best that ever did it. He said, "Wearing Crocs is like getting head from a man.
No,
it feels good."
Yes, you said that,
but then you look down and you realize you're gay.
Right.
It's the best joke.
Yes, I've heard that. Yes. You said that. Okay. So here's the deal. So I look at a couple things. So what I was looking at was can, right? You can't not pay attention because can or con if you're going to say it correctly, right? Because it's A, B, C, D, E. Okay. So anyway, can, because everybody says it that way. So at Cannes, you've got all these film big, film festival, not can, bro.
I thought you were talking about Emmanuel Kant.
What are you talking about? No, don't say that word. Oh, you said Kant. Sorry. So listen. So what I'm trying to say to you is that I was watching this stuff that's going on with Cannes, aka Cannes, and I noticed that there's these huge films and huge filmmakers that are getting these standing ovations, and it's interesting, right? They put that out there. Megalopolis.
We put an article in the newsletter.
Yeah, about 7-minute standing ovation. Yeah, and then you've got what's the other one, man? There's so many of them. But Horizon got, I think it was an 11-minute standing ovation.
That's a lot of minutes, dog.
It's a lot of minutes, bro. Like, think about it. Just clap for a minute.
Just keep clapping.
For 1 minute and see how long that is. Exactly. So you talk about Horizon getting 11-minute standing ovation.
Who directed Horizon, Nick? Sorry to interrupt. I just need to know who directed
Costner, bro. It's Costner.
Costner. That's the one I heard. Yes. Costner's film's getting an ovation. And
he took his family out there.
Coppola's going to get an ovation. He just is.
Yeah. But here's the deal. Well, Costner too. But here's the deal, right? So those are, and then you could throw in what's the other one? The Mad Max, right? So they're all getting these standing ovations, 7 minutes, 11 minutes, or whatever. I don't know what the time deal is, but anyway, freaking long. So they're getting these ovations, and then you flip, and you're like, okay, let me learn a little bit more about it, and you find out that these movies from the critics were like, this is not good. All right, let me just read this real quick.
Yeah, read
this is from
Drop it on
Peter de Bruges from Variety, right?
I would say if it's Peter Travers, it didn't count.
No. Anyway, go ahead. Megalopolis is positively awe-inspiring in some places and an absolute eyesore in others until you pull back and try to take it all in. Only then can you see the unwieldy way old and new concepts crowd next to each other like an Art Deco skyscraper squeezed between a cathedral and a Starbucks. Okay? Kevin Costner's film, Horizon. Okay. Nicholas Barber of BBC gives his article this title. Kevin Costner's Western is a numbingly long, incoherent disaster. Wow. Bro, wow is right. And you're like, wait a second.
That's he got for Waterworld.
I liked Waterworld, by the way. So here's the deal. So you're going to take.
You just outed yourself.
I did. I like Waterworld. I like what he did there. Now the female co-host and co-star in that was not good. Her acting was poor.
It was probably better than we heard.
Movie was good, but yeah, it was a cool concept.
It was a media hit job because they had spent so much money. The production was such a train wreck, apparently. And it almost felt like the studios were like, let's make sure that this man doesn't get to direct.
Well, we don't do this type of thing again. But I will tell you that it's.
Hey, everybody, Chris here to talk about Indie Insights. It's our bi-weekly newsletter and love note to the film industry, movies, and the creatives who make them, not to mention you, our esteemed listeners. Inside, you'll find curated industry trends, articles, exclusive commentary, and underappreciated films from filmmakers like yourself worldwide. The best part is that it is completely free. So sign up today at www.bonsai.film/subscribe. It just takes a few seconds, and once you sign up, you'll get our next newsletter on Friday morning. It's that simple. Just go to www.bonsai.film/subscribe to get Indie Insights, our bi-weekly newsletter, and join a network of film creatives just like yourself. And now, back to the show.
A great movie when you're watching, back in the day, right? I'm going to talk about, when I say back in the day, it's probably like 5 years ago, when you had cable.
Yep.
When I was young, I'm not a kid anymore.
Yep.
But anyway, so you go turn on cable. And just, why did you turn on cable? Because you needed background stuff. You were doing something, you were folding laundry, you were doing whatever. You want to put something on,
by the way.
Yeah, there you go. You put on FX, and there was a movie on, and you would watch it. Waterworld is one of those great movies to watch when you're doing something else. It was great. Like even like Blade. Blade was a good movie. Like the first one,
I think,
but it's one of those you'll watch it over and over again because
but I don't think that's a good.
Bro, listen, I would watch Waterworld if it was on FX.
If you say to a filmmaker, your movie's the kind of movie you watch,
I'm not saying that
while
to
you're
them.
doing other shit.
I'm not saying it to them, bro.
Like, I don't think that's a compliment.
I'm not saying it to them. I'm saying it to me. But anyway, so here's the deal.
I just think
back
you just
to what
proved
you
that
said.
It's a bad movie. Anyway,
I know,
but
what you said about being nice to one another,
yes.
I think that's what's happening at Cannes, right? I think what they're doing is they're saying, look, we respect you as an artist.
Yeah.
This thing that you made may not be for the masses. It may not be for the critics. It may not be that thing, but this is an expression of your art that you put time and effort and hella lots of money into.
Yes.
And we are standing here appreciating not only this thing that you did, but we're also appreciating your legacy. That's why you're getting this ovation. You are here after having done such amazing stuff. And this is just a piece of art that we appreciate. And I think that's what that's about, is that they appreciate the artist, they appreciate how far they've come, and they appreciate that this is a personal expression more than it is something that is even designed to have theatrical or commercial success. And they're at stages in their career when honestly they don't need that. Would it be nice? Yes, it's always nice to be commercially successful with your art, but they don't need it. So that's why Kevin Costner was in tears, because he felt like his peers acknowledged him, recognized him, saw him in that moment, and appreciated him for who he was. So it's been really interesting to watch that kind of dichotomy, if you will.
I really like Kevin Costner. That is a little bit of a sea change, though. A lot of times the films at Cannes are your movies of the year. I mean, they'll end up being
critically acclaimed
movies of the year. That's the sea change, that they're not being reviewed well. I'll play devil's advocate. Not that I necessarily believe this, because I do think a lot of what you're saying is true. I think it's a really optimistic and almost doe-eyed take in a way, which is sweet. Like, hey, I'm appreciating your art. We're going to give you a giant standing ovation. My question is, if they're not in the room, are you giving the ovation? And is it that long? Probably not.
No. That's my point. It's really for them.
It's for them. And then the other thing I would say is there is a political and career play here, right? And it goes back to what I said a moment ago. It's just like sometimes we say the thing we need to say to get out of the room safely, right? And nicely. And there is a type of niceness that ends up being mean, but starts nice. And that's kind of what I was describing before. And we've mentioned this on the podcast before, where it's kind of like someone will want you to read their script or read them. And you're like, okay, do you want me to read this? And when I read it, do you want me to tell you how good you are, or do you want the truth?
Right.
And we used to say that all the time back when we were consulting a lot more. It was like a lot of people just want you to tell them how good they are so they can have the strength to keep going. And I don't think Costner and Francis Ford Coppola need that. I love that Costner was crying. Like I said, I love Costner. I love Francis Ford Coppola. I love that he did the indie route as well, Coppola specifically. Critics have agendas just like everybody else, so I'm not going to put that past them. Sometimes if a movie has a more right-leaning theme, then they're going to be universally panned. And I've just found that to be true versus the other way around. If it's really left-leaning film, the reviews will be through the roof. And why? Because there aren't a lot of right-leaning critics. So sometimes an unpopular take to the world of criticism lends to some bad criticism for a film. But back to the political part, if you're in that room and you're amongst your peers and you're all in the business, all working in the industry, you're in this beautiful place, why do you want to mess up the vibes by like booing a feature or
Exactly.
like I told you earlier when we started this, like I just came from a board meeting, and in the board meeting we nominated 3 new board members, right? And that's happened in my life, let's say 10 times, right? Across different boards I've worked on. There's a vote. All in favor, all against, goes like that, right? It has never happened to me where someone dissents.
Hey.
In that room with your peers, you do not dissent. Even you don't even know the people. How do you even have you're not even equipped with the information you need to say yes, but you are going to say yes.
Listen. Okay, this is what I need you to do.
And this is kind of what happened to me. That's my opinion.
This is what I need you to do.
Or at least my devil's advocate
board
opinion.
meeting. Mm-hmm. I need you to say, when they say, "Are we all?" No, you say, "Stop. We're going to do it differently this time. We're not going to start with the 4s. We're going to say all those against." Start with that and see what happens.
And see what happens.
Right, because if you get 1 or 2 or 3 who are against, then what happens after that? That's weird. That would flip the script on them. So here's the thing I want to know about Cannes, though. Okay, take it back.
And then we got to get into some things we should know. With producer problem.
Of course. And we're going to drop that. We're going to drop that on them. Here's the thing I want to know, and I could probably look it up, is which film came first in the order of films that were shown. So, for example, if y'all give a 7-minute ovation to Mad Max, and then Megalopolis plays afterwards, you better handle up, bro. You can't not do it. Even if they didn't like it, you got to do it. Kevin Costner comes up, bro. How you gonna, give 7-minute ovation to Thor in Mad Max?
It's not that they're playing back to back, but it's like if everyone knows, because it's such a covered festival, right? By the media,
exactly.
Everyone knows Mad Max got 7 minutes.
No, bro. Kevin Costner got to get 11.
Now, it's weird that it keeps increasing by 4. You said 7, 11, 15?
No. I said 15. No. I said, I think that actually Megalopolis was in the realm of 7, which is, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think Mad Max got 7, Megalopolis got 7, and I think Kevin Costner's joint got 11. And what I'm just saying is that once you did that for Mad Max, which I think is the order, at least that's the order that I remember it being publicized, you can't not give Megalopolis. You cannot give Horizon. You can't not do it. Like, you're going to have to handle up. So, if they went the other way around, I think they could have not given Mad Max. They could have gone Megalopolis. You get it.
What if
for
it
11
happened
minutes.
the other way? And then Mad Max, everybody just stay seated.
Right.
The other two play. It's funny. And we're about to bring producer Papa Bear on for things we should know. But you mentioned giving your son a lesson about information being hidden in books.
That's right.
I was talking to my son about, and I've said this to many more people than just my son, but I've always said, and I believe this, that everyone should wait tables at least once. and then get out.
Service.
Yeah, and then get out because the culture will eat you alive, right? It's a crazy culture, the restaurant culture. Cash in, cash out. You can't stay there. You can't. Well, not just that, but it's more like drugs and alcohol, cash, and the sort of coalescing nature of like the community. But it's like can't stay longer than 2 years. But everybody should do it once. And the reason why is because it teaches you how to serve someone else humbly and with grace. But here's the big point. And it kind of goes to what we were saying about the ovations. It's one of the few jobs outside of being a performer on stage where you get an instantaneous feedback loop on how good you're doing. Instantaneous feedback loop on what you are doing. Everybody wants that. Everybody needs that. The screenwriters that are out there, filmmakers, creatives, designers, we all want to know, do you like this? Do you like this? And you can't get a straight answer all the time. So you end up having a circle of trust that are people who can hurt your feelings and still be your friend because you trust them. Right. And then even then it's kind of like, are they right? Are they wrong? You're in this place of confusion. There's no confusion on stage when you're a comedian. They're either laughing or they're not. And if they don't laugh a few times in a row, say 5 straight shows, you're not funny. You need to rework your show. It is just the raw truth. If you are singing on stage and people aren't singing along with you or like they're like not clapping for you, you don't have stage presence. You can't sing. Theater is the same way. And so is waiting tables because you get that tip. Some people will just tip you out of courtesy, I know, but more times than not, if you're terrible, you will get a low tip or no tip. And you can always compare this against your peers, the other people working beside you. Like, what were your tips like? What were your tips like? And you'll know whether that's good or bad. You get great tips. You're like, dude, I'm good at this job. I'm really good at this. I'm getting instant
So what
feedback.
you're saying is that you're an advocate of not, including the gratuity. Because I was just at a place with my son yesterday, and they told me what the price of the meal was, and they said that includes the 20% gratuity. I say, wait, what?
Yeah,
I guess included. They were like, yeah, we started doing this because people weren't tipping at all.
And instead of addressing their terrible wait staff, they put it back on the people as the taxpayer.
Exactly.
I hate
was
that.
like, wow. I said the same thing. I was like, so you don't even I said it. I was like, y'all don't even allow me to like have a decision in this. Like this, not even like she was great. Like honestly, like she was great. I would have given it to her, but I was like, you didn't even like, give me the
You would
option.
have given it to her?
The 20% tip.
Oh, got it.
So well, that could have gone left as well. 20% tip.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, but I was kind of floored by it. I was like, wow, like now he puts in a position where it doesn't matter what the service is, or it puts the customer in the position to be more vocal, to say, hey, look, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not buying this food from this place because the service is terrible and you're requiring a 20% tip regardless. So
when I was coming up, 10% was a good tip, and now it's like jumped to 20.
Bro.
And it's not like in New York. Like in New York, they have all these places where they pay a living wage to their wait staff, and they're not allowed to ask you for a tip. But in these other places, they don't pay a living wage. When I waited tables,
so you got to take the tip.
I made $2.14 an hour.
So you took the tip all the time, is what you're saying. Like regardless, you were making sure.
Wherever you put that tip, I would take it.
Right, you asked for it.
You could shove that tip anywhere you want to shove it.
But you asked for it.
As long as I didn't ask for it, I would just take it. And
I see. Okay.
And the bigger the tip, the better.
Yeah, right. Papa Bear. You gotta get PB in here, bro. It's getting crazy. Hey, real quick. I
like that T-shirt
with us. I like it too. Hey, Papa Bear, I'm glad you're with us, and I want to let you know something. So yeah, I'm at the end of my drinky drink. It's all done. I made myself a mule. It's actually a vodka mule. But I want to tell you, I found this thing the other day. Went to the liquor store, and there was a person had a table, and she was selling this. Can you see that right there?
Okay, yeah, Litos.
Litos. And you see at the bottom, that's the Maryland flag, right?
Oh, yep,
so
it is.
yeah, so it's a local
That's the
vodka.
Ravens.
There you go, local vodka. And I was like, they offered a tasting, and I tasted it, and I wasn't a fan. I was like, this isn't. Nah, I'm not a fan. I don't know what this is in my mouth, but I'm not a fan.
You don't know what it is in your mouth.
Did you leave them a tip?
So see, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, at first I wasn't a fan, but then I was like, oh, like this is like, all of a sudden I got a little buzz off it. I was like, what's this? I only had a little bit. It was like it was clean.
Yep.
And I didn't have that vodka flavor kind of thing in my mouth anymore. I was like, it was clean. I was like, oh, what is this? Mm-hmm. And then I was like, you know what? Maryland brand, gotta support them, right? I was actually I was about to buy the other stuff I was there to buy. I got out of the line, went and bought a bottle.
Yep.
To support these folks. And there's two things I wanted to share about this local company. So Litos, found out that it actually means, I guess it's Greek, and it means set loose, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, that's kind of cool, right? Mm-hmm. But the other thing that I learned about Litos
set loose
is that they're the first, according to them, high alkaline 80 proof spirit to offer a 9.5 pH level. I was like, an alkaline alcohol? Interesting. And I've been using it. And I've been using it in these mules, which are actually pretty good. So anyway, I just want to let y'all know that I was drinking the Litos.
Shout out to Litos.
Yeah, local folks, Maryland representing, and I had to represent the local folks. So, and it's pretty good. It's good stuff.
I love it.
Shout out to mules.
Shout out to mules. Shout out to Litos.
And these little cups, man, because you can't have a mule without the cup. And it's
shout out to Nick being set loose when he gets a tip on vodka.
There you go. Look at that. He brought it all back together.
Those flappy cheeks.
That's right. Hey, PB. I'm turning it to you now, man. I don't know what he's doing. So, all right. We got things we should know. What you got, Jesus?
Well, you guys have been. What would make a more interesting
quiz show, Jesus?
Right.
The things we shouldn't know.
No. Right. No. Exactly. All right. What you got?
So you guys have been talking about Horizon, Megalopolis, and they've been tagged with the tag Epic. They're Epic films. And, an epic film is bigger than life. It's sweeping. It's got a broad scope. It's almost a spectacle. But it is a genre to itself.
Yes.
So tell me, what was the first film
Jesus.
in the epic genre?
It's funny. He's looking at PB and he says, Jesus.
Yeah. I'm calling on the person who's asking me the question that I can't answer.
Right. Exactly.
No.
Well, you're talking about.
You look like Michael McDonald if he never used drugs.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Well, you were talking about.
Is that wait.
Mistaken
Chris.
for Albie Shore and Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I was mistaken for Willie Nelson.
There you go. I'd take that. I'd take that.
Willie's still taking shots to Willie Nelson?
Yeah, but it's funny. Chris just said Michael McDonald, and then he said, if he wasn't using drugs, and I'm like, oh, so Michael McDonald was on drugs when he was like, I keep forgetting. Oh man!
Shout out to Michael McDonald.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, and he did
Blue Eyed Soul.
Exactly. What's our Jacob Collier? Jacob Collier brought him back.
Yep.
So that's what's up.
Okay. Well,
about to see Jacob Collier on June the 2nd.
Nice, very good.
Can't wait.
Amazing.
Yep.
All right,
see him
so
live at the
first
Opry.
film that was considered an epic film.
Yeah, the first one tagged epic. Yeah.
Well, Chris has to go with Charlton Heston films.
You're welcome to tell me what year that was.
Oh, it actually is gonna be Charleston Heston film.
Yeah, he's going to pick Charleston Heston.
And by the way, this is for
Charlton.
you.
Oh, you mother.
That's for you.
Right.
Okay. Charleston Heston film.
Right. So I'm going to go my epic film. And it sucks because like there were some epic films probably like when film started, like, 10 years into filmmaking, there's probably some films that were considered epic that were probably based in like, I don't know, Egypt, right? Because they always make those films bigger than they actually are in real life because they think Egypt and all these things are like huge places and they've got all this stuff going on. But I'm going to throw out a film real quick and just because I think in itself it's epic.
I'm writing some notes right now. I think I have.
Yeah. This film is epic, and this film is started some careers of some very famous people, and isn't actually a film that people, I think, in the past 2 generations have watched. So the one that I'm going to go with is Caligula. I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna sit on that one.
That was epic.
Yes, it was. It's probably not the answer because there was some earlier films again that they're trying to be bigger than life in the initial days of Hollywood and explore these other worlds. I think like anything that has to deal with the Middle East, I think was probably in that realm. But I'm gonna drop Caligula because I want Caligula to be part of people's zeitgeist, and I got to go watch that crazy ass movie.
Yeah, in the classical literary sense, an epic.
Look up Caligula, kids.
Tends to focus on a heroic character, but today we've given that title to films that are just big budget films as well.
That's true.
Yep.
So it's kind of an ambiguous genre.
Yeah, but budget in the way that like you can spend a lot of money on cast. But I think epic is there, like you said, the film itself is bigger than life. There's something about the costume. There's something about the wardrobe. There's something about the location. There's something about maybe multiple locations. There's animals in this joint, right? Like if you bring in an elephant, you know what I'm saying, and there's people riding elephants, then you're like, oh wow, look how big this was, especially at a certain time of filmmaking. So like I said, I'm sticking with Caligula, even though I don't think that's the one, because I don't know some of those films that were back in the early days, the titles of them that would have been considered.
Do you know what year was Caligula made, Nick?
I want to say it was 76, but I'm not sure. We can look that up.
Because my answer also starts with a C, and my guess is Cleopatra.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Those Egyptian, like all that Middle Eastern, those
1963.
films, yeah, see, that predates that.
Cleopatra. Papa Bear, drop some knowledge on us. What do we got?
Well, first, I'd just like to say, in recent times, for me, the opening scene of Babylon.
See, I knew you were going to say Babylon. That's that elephant, right? That's what I'm saying.
Babylon was such a good movie. So underrated. And it was another one of those
of epic
critic hits where the critics killed that film. And it had some things in there that made Hollywood not look great. And Hollywood loves itself, right? Yeah. Like they love stories about themselves when they're positive, and they don't like stories that are necessarily bad. Although
truth telling,
although LA Confidential was about Hollywood, I guess, indirectly, and did really well, and was, I think, either movie of the year or nominated for movie of the year. So maybe it doesn't stand up. Maybe those critics genuinely didn't like Babylon. I don't know how you can watch that movie and not love it. Was it 20 minutes too long? Yeah, but so was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, that's the next one I was going to say. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you got Avatar 2, epic film, and then so was,
Well,
Avengers,
I just mean movies about Hollywood.
But yeah.
Like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood will, in my opinion, go down as one of Tarantino's best films ever, if not his best one that he does. Of course, I haven't seen the one he's planning on his last film, but it was a little ahead of its time, and it had some gratuitous violence, which a lot of his movies do. and maybe it did drag on, but the storytelling part of it and the audiobook are tremendous. And
hey, drag on. Wasn't that a rapper in the 90s? I think he was. Yeah, I think
you know who I love that nobody talks about? A rapper named what was that rapper?
Nobody talks about it. He didn't know his name. You know what I'm saying?
He wasn't talked about enough.
He was in the Flip Mode Squad with Busta Rhymes. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
I wish, Lord, wherever you are, Lord have drop. If somebody knows where Lord Have Mercy album is, like a whole solo, I will listen to a whole solo album of Lord Have Mercy.
Where's Crucial Conflict at?
He can't. Crucial Conflict can't hold Lord Have Mercy.
I'm not saying that. I'm just
hold his microphone.
They came out after Bone Thugs and Harmony, and they were rapping fast, and they were doing their things. Yeah. You know, was it Rolling On? Hey, come on, man. Anyway, all right, PB, what you got? Shout
out to Busy Bone. Genius.
So you guys are so close, but yet so wrong.
Of course.
It does start with the letter C.
Bro ham.
Just like coconut water.
Just like Choose Happy. Come on, bro. Choose Happy.
And just like
just like Corneliani.
Look at that. All right, what you got, PB? Let's go.
It also has elephants in it.
No, hey, see, told you. I said that. I'm like, it's going to have elephants.
It has elephants. It has the sea.
Yes.
It's a 1914 film.
Oh, my God. I knew it. Go ahead.
A 2.5 hour silent film about the Punic Wars, which laid the groundwork for the subsequent silent epics of D.W. Griffith.
Oh, it's the D.W. Griffith, the racist film.
No. It's called Cabiria.
Oh, it's not the racist one.
Cabiria.
D.W. Griffith, Cabiria.
Cabiria.
Spell it again, please. Papa Bear, spell it again for the people.
Cabiria.
Listen, bro.
Okay, we're gonna look that up.
Listen, I was close, right? And I was saying the Middle East, but this is like the Mediterranean region. That's what I'm saying. Like those films back in the early days were all about like, let's try to show people what we think these places look like. So the Punic Wars, a series of 3 wars fought between Rome and Carthage from 264 BC to 146 BC. At the time, probably the largest wars that had ever taken place. Right? The wars took place on both land and sea across the Mediterranean region and involved a total of 43 years of warfare. Bro, how are you fighting for that long? But wow. Look, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's it.
That's why the movie was so long.
Exactly. It was epic. How long was it again?
2.5 hours, silent, which feels like 7.5 hours.
2.5 hours.
It feels like one of those ovations at Cannes.
Right, exactly.
There's some interesting trivia about it itself. You think, well...
Babylon, by the way, PB, was a good hint. Yeah. Because that movie's also about sort of the silent era of Hollywood.
And that film... was the first feature to be shown on White House grounds.
Oh, wow.
Also,
the White House. All right, go ahead.
And people didn't know about it because this is the earliest film included on Roger Ebert's Great Movies list.
Holy crap.
Because he was born in 1914. So,
holy
first
moly.
movie he saw. Wow, that's crazy.
Okay, I'm going to see if it's in this. I have a book right in front of me called the New York Times Essential 1,000 Films to See Before You Die, and I'm going to see if this movie is in there.
And so, for those,
what is the name of the movie again?
Cabiria.
But for those in production, this was the first film to use a dolly track system, the effects of which were pegged Cabiria movements in the industry.
It wasn't there.
Exactly. So it wasn't until Dolly Parton used it that they decided to change the name. I got it. Okay. Got it. So it was Dolly. The Cabiria movement.
Got it. Papa Bear, you did it again. This is a thing we should know.
Wonders never cease.
Congratulations, man. Cabiria, 1914, D.W. Griffith, and the inventor of the Cabiria movement. Papa Bear.
That's right. Yeah.
I salute you.
It's a beautiful thing. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus. Nick, let's get into some Reddit questions.
Well, it's just one.
Let's get into some Reddit stuff and then wrap this up.
So it's just one, but I think that like you've told the people, right? I'm on Reddit. I ask questions, I answer questions. We do all the things.
Matt, they call. No, Nicholas Bug. Sorry.
Yes, but I will be switching. So the thing is that this question I pulled out. I'm gonna say it, but it's not just this question. Mm-hmm. I've seen this question worded in so many different ways on Reddit. And here's the question. Am I lying to myself about being passionate about filmmaking, or am I just having a hard time being a creative? Like, that's a tough one, bro. Yeah, it is a good question, right?
Can we say who asked it? Shout them out.
I'm not gonna put the name on there because I don't know if they want to shout him out like that, right? But
we'll make it more official in the future than we shout people out. But anyway,
yeah. So
read the question again.
So, am I lying to myself about being passionate about filmmaking?
Yeah.
Or am I just having a hard time being a creative? And like I said, I've seen this type of question multiple times. Mm-hmm. What it comes down to is this struggle.
Yeah.
Like, this stuff is not easy. And I think that's the part. It's like, am I passionate? Because I think the person, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of answers. There's a lot of back and forth, right? And this person basically divulges that they've been involved in a couple things, but haven't been as involved in creating things.
Yeah.
It's like, I've done some music videos, I've done some shorts, but I haven't done some stuff in a while. So like, am I lying to myself that this is my jam and I haven't made anything in a while?
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the struggle. There's so many parts of it, but I think this part and what I was reading into it was this person doesn't have access to the resources and or the people that they need to bring some of the creative stuff to life or be a part of a creative endeavor.
Yeah.
The fact that they're not making things doesn't make them less creative.
Right.
Well, it's just their output isn't there, right? You can be creative all day. Like, you can have these ideas, these thoughts, these whatever, but you still need collaborators. You still need people who might help finance or give services or whatever. And I think that's one of the many struggles you have as an artist is that you've got all of this creative energy, this creative vision, but if you don't have the means, right, to bring it to life, or you don't understand that you have the means, right? Because one of the things that I saw also out there was, hey, don't be so caught up in what you don't have.
Yeah.
Right. If you're truly a creative in all of the best means of the word, you'll find a way. There's no way you cannot make a movie. If you have a cell phone, right, in this day and age, right, let's call it a smartphone, you can make a movie. That's not a thing, right?
You can make some version of your movie.
Exactly. So that's the thing, is that you can make stuff, but again, maybe it's not the type of stuff that they think puts them on the map. But anyway, I thought it was really interesting. Again, am I lying to myself about being passionate, or am I just having a hard time being a creative? And I think it's the latter half.
Was that the first part of the question? Am I lying to myself about being passionate? Or was it am I lying to myself about being a filmmaker?
No. Am I lying to myself about being passionate about filmmaking?
About filmmaking. Got it.
Or am I just having a hard time? And like I said, I think it's the latter. I think you're just having a hard time either finding collaborators and resources to make the things that you want to make, or you don't have the understanding of how you can leverage the things that you have in order to bring that to light. I mean, I wanted to put that out there. Yeah.
Well, it's an interesting question, right? Because how do we define passion? What does it look like? Yeah. I've seen when people really love something. It's all they talk about. It's all they're good at. I don't know how famous actually, but I've said a bunch of times my homie, Rioville, shout out to Rioville, who I grew up with. He's only good at music. He's not good at cleaning his room. Right. He's not good at relationships. He can't keep a car clean.
Right.
I love it. Love you, Rio. Real talk. But I'm being real with you. But he's great at music.
Yep.
Great at singing, great at production. He's passionate about it. When we were younger, if he had a 9-to-5 job and there was a music thing, He didn't have that job anymore.
Right. Yeah. Music thing.
That's what passion looks like. So are you lying to yourself about how passionate are you film? Like, what are you willing to do in your filmmaking and your creativity? Are you always sort of working it? Like, I don't know about you guys, man. I work on film stuff every day. Every day. Doesn't mean that a movie's around the corner, but I'm working towards something every day. I'm passionate about it. I don't know what it looks like to not do this. Sometimes I question, can I be even more passionate? Where else can I steal hours? Where else can I steal time to do something? Who can I bring in that'll take over this thing I'm doing so I have more time towards that can go towards film stuff and creative stuff and music stuff and this podcast and et cetera. So, I'd say start asking yourself that question. How do you define passion? How does the world see and define passion for you? Are you meeting those sort of benchmarks? But I'll give you a personal example of how you can sometimes fall in the middle. My mother, who died in 2007, loved American Idol. Loved it. She was in the Bobby Jones Singers, and people who follow gospel music will know who Bobby Jones is. In the 70s, she was very passionate about music. And, I started in music, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, and she was like, you ought to go on American Idol. I was like, Mom, I don't want to be famous. You should go on American Idol. Mom, I don't want to be famous that way. None of my heroes had to go on a competition show to get a record deal. None of my heroes had to go on a competition show in order to make the music they wanted to make or say what they wanted to say. I don't want to sing somebody else's song and be judged on my singing. All these things. And when you get past that conversation, somewhere deep down, you know what the real truth is. It's a mix of what just fell out of your mouth as the reason why you don't want to do something with the secret internal thing that only you know, which is I'm not good enough to win American Idol. And whether it's true or not, I don't believe it. Right. I don't believe I'm good enough to do that. I'm not going to William Hung myself. Right? So you don't give yourself a shot. You don't give yourself a chance. And then we say no to opportunities like that all the time in film or all the time in creative. We're like, no, that one's not for me. That's not how I do it. I do it a little bit differently. I don't want that opportunity. How does this benefit me if I do this? This doesn't make sense on my journey. We say no to that. But what's underneath that is insecurity about whether we measure up and whether we're really good enough and whether we really deserve to say the things that we're saying about ourselves. Like, I'm a filmmaker. I'm a writer. Are you? Are you doing the Priscilla Wise thing where you get up and write 5 minutes a day and then form that habit? Are you a filmmaker? Do you take the cell phone that Nick just talked about and shoot the things you can shoot and edit them and learn? So there's a little bit of honesty you have to have with yourself as well because it's very competitive. So that's all.
Yeah. And then for me,
I've fallen short like that the same way.
Right. But it comes back to the output. Yeah. Right. Because I think both you and I, like you said, like, what is the definition of passion? Right. Yeah. And I think the definition of passion as a creative is output. That's the only way to define it, right? Your interest, because there's a difference between being passionate about learning, right? Or passionate about the practicing of the craft, if you will, right? Like there's a training element, education, whatever. But then the way that creatives will look at that passion is what is the output, right? So we can tell you're passionate not because of your interest, but because of what you've actually created. Yeah. So I think that's the balance. It's like, so again, I'm looking at am I lying to myself about being passionate,
the care
about
you took to create it,
right? Or am I just having a hard time being a creative? See what I'm saying? Like that's the part.
Well, but what I'm saying is like, if you are going to shoot your movie on a phone, like you said, Nick, then you already know you're compromising. So how are you going to care for that compromise? Are you just going to throw out some shit that you edit together that's barely good enough for social? If you already know you have to use a worse camera and not have the luxury of a filmmaking crew, set, location, editor, all the things. Well, how are you going to go about making it worth someone else's time and your own time for your own brand? That's passion to me. I used to play beach volleyball for like 13 years. I wasn't getting paid. It was completely recreational, bro. I would come home and lay on the ground on the floor and sit to myself.
Nice.
For
I like it.
Hours. What was that about? This is passion.
I know,
ended up
but the
getting a couple
passion,
chips.
but remember,
and there was a reason why.
I know, but remember, the passion was translated through what you did on the actual court, right? Like you didn't just say. That's my point. Is that this
but
person might be
display
stuck.
behaviors of passion is what I'm saying.
Exactly. I know, but I think that's where this person is stuck. I think that's it. It's like they're doing that. They're laying on the ground. They're setting. Right. And and people can look around at them. Look at me. I am passionate about this.
Yeah.
I am practicing this. I'm doing this. But I'm not creating anything because of some barrier. And it could be many of the things that you discuss. It could be that they don't think they're actually good enough to get on.
Or it's not worth
set.
Creating it if it's just with the phone. It's not worth it.
Right. Exactly.
Vision.
Exactly. There's so many things. And that's the thing. And that's why I said, I think they're having a hard time being a creative. They're not stepping into that next step. That's it. Just got to step into it, whether it's getting a community to do it, bringing people around you, or just creating something on your own. I think that's the challenge. Now, how they get past that? Well, like you said, there's so many different things that could be impacting this. If it's I guess you could say almost deprecation, then they need to get over that, have positive self-talk. If it's resources, right? There's so many people who have resources. Align yourselves with them. So anyway, I think that's their challenge. They're having difficulty being a creative because they haven't knocked down whatever that barrier is that keeps them from actually expressing the passion that they obviously have. I think that exists. I think that's there.
Yeah, keep the Reddit questions coming, folks. That was a good question, man. I appreciate that question. We'd love to answer some more, questions like that. Whatever you have, we can sort of address it and try to give you an answer. I love what you said there, Nick. And to me, the specificity around that is just, okay, what story are you telling yourself? And be honest about it. And then 2, if you want to get around people who can give you resources, the advice I've always given is to go to your local 54-hour film festival, 48-hour film festival, anywhere where there's local competitions. Go watch the film that would have been better if they had the thing that you do, right? Whether it be directing, screenwriting, editing, coloring, sound mix, whatever.
Wardrobe,
and then go and introduce yourself to the filmmaker and say, hey, the next film you make, I want to do this. Would you be open to it? And they know what's bad with their film because once it shows in a big theater in front of everybody, you immediately know what didn't work, and they're going to say yes, and then now you have a team. So that's a specific thing you can do sort of right away. So anyway, I
like it.
Good chat, man.
Yeah, man.
You ready to wrap this thing up, man? This was good.
It was. I like it, and PB always dropping the knowledge on us.
Yeah,
and he's taking it back, way back. Like 4 flats and a Cadillac back, right? It was in 1914 on that joint. So but I will put the plug in for y'all who have the stomach for it. Caligula, some crazy stuff. And even if you just look it up, even if you look it up, look who's in that movie. I'm not going to say it. Look it up. Look up Caligula, do your IMDb job, look it up, and you'd be like, yo, for real? Like she was and he was? Oh, I didn't know that. And then when you watch it, you can be like, oh, dang. No. Like they're not making films like this anymore. So
speaking of go watch Babylon. Speaking of look us up. You can look us up at themakeitpodcast.com. If you go there or to bonsai.film, either one will work. You can go there, see all of our back episodes, support the podcast in a myriad of ways. Some of the easy ways to support the podcast is to go to our online shop. We have tons of apparel there. The shop is growing and getting better every day. So definitely go check that out. It's not really apparel, folks. You're not just wearing a hat. You're not just wearing a t-shirt. You're wearing a calling cry. Make it in your city, right? Like that's the whole thing. Like go out there and let people know in your gear, in your everyday walk, that you are creative and that you are passionate about what you do. That's what we're really trying to get out here. We're not trying to sell t-shirts and hats. Anybody can do that. We're trying to create a movement and a community around this. So go support the community. Go in there, get you a Make It hat, get you a Make It t-shirt. You saw Papa Bear wearing one. earlier.
Yeah,
go do that at the shop.
You will make it.
You will make it.
And tell them that that's what you are doing. You are going to make it, right? You're going to, whatever it is. So, yeah.
That's all right. Tell a story of your life through these pieces of apparel and tell a friend. Another way you can support us is our newsletter. That's at bonsai.film/subscribe, or you can just go to newsletter on either page. So again, the makeitpodcast.com or bonsai.film and subscribe. Indie Insights. It's really easy. Just your email in there. Costs nothing. We do it every 2 weeks. Great newsletter. We really pour our hearts and souls into it. And you can unsubscribe anytime if you want to, but you probably will never want to because it's just good stuff in film.
They love it.
No, nobody does. That's right. We just, I think we have an ebook available called Movie Money. That's right. We just put up about there.
It, man.
Movie Money
is
dope.
It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, and that's the thing is that it's free, guys. Like you get that for free. Basically, if you're looking for opportunities to finance your film, there's all these funding opportunities. Yep. We got 42 different funding opportunities in this thing, and all you got to do is subscribe to the newsletter. Again, It's yours. Like it's your book, and people are picking it up, which is great. I'm very appreciative of the people who've shown the love so far. Pick that up because not only are they picking it up, showing that they actually appreciate the value of the book, but they're also appreciating the value of the Indie Insights newsletter. So, bonsai.film/movie money. It's all yours.
Yeah, totally free. Super proud of that. Excited about that. And then, of course, following us on social is so easy. You can do that on TikTok, X, Facebook, Instagram. You can find us anywhere there's social media at _MakeItPodcast. So that's _MakeItPodcast. Give us a follow. We are uploading full episodes on X and on Facebook. And then we have a lot of shorts that roll through in those other channels. So it's a fun follow. We keep it light. We don't overwhelm you. And all of our content can be seen in a lot of different places. Outside of X and Facebook, of course, we're on YouTube. Thank you, YouTube community, for supporting our podcast so much. Our page has grown in subscribers by something like 10,000%. Really appreciate you guys. Keep telling a friend if you like this content. It means the world to us. And of course, you can always listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, you name it. We're there. And on that audio version of the podcast, we are supporting Bodega Sync artists. These are independent musicians who are on the indie musician grind. And all we want to do is support them, promote them, put their songs out there to a bigger and greater audience, every single week. So with that, Nick, can you please leave us with the credo? Another C.
I love it. Right. Another C, like Chris. Yes, I can leave you with it. Again, great convo. PB, we appreciate you. Thank you, Jesus. Everything that you do for us and the pod and for our people out there, because that's the beauty of Things We Should Know, is that it's the gift that keeps on giving to not only us, but to the audience who gets to learn cool stuff. And in this one, he drops like extra facts on us, which is awesome.
Always does, yeah.
So it always does, which is great. So with that, of course, I will say to our friends, our family, our followers, our fellow filmmakers out there, be better, be creative, be engaged.
And thank you for listening. Nick, talk to you soon.
Yeah, brother. Always, man. We'll do it again.
All right. My voice cracked like Bobby Brady at the end, but you guys get it.
That's right. Because, hey, you're human, and
I'm a filmmaker,
that's a good thing.
Which means I'm a person
right.
too. We're all people.
That's right, 100%.
We're all just trying to be happy and make it. Let's be nice to each other. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Appreciate you, producer Papa Bear.
Yep.
Peace.
Okay, big dog, gripping hella Benjamin. Step up to the balls, get the swinging like a pendulum. Never took a loss, dropping bombs on your friend and them. Too much energy, I got the title, I'm defending them. I ain't come to play, rap, chatter, money, hungry backpack. I throw it up, Benjamin's up in the bag. Might just throw a smack at you, cause I'm bad. Too ill, so fresh, I'm invincible. Keep on yapping at the mouth, see what I'm finna do. Kicking down the door, hit them high and low. One shot, had to steer the show like a criminal. One shot, hopping in my bag, it was pivotal. Carrying the mag like it's Vogue, case I'm in the mode. One shot, setting the bar way high from the jump. One shot, keeping the crowd pumped. One shot, if you want a problem, get stunk. Up to you, come on, tell me what you want. Never will I perish, I came to embarrass. I got everything I could ever want. Try to challenge me, yeah, I dare you. Got the rings of a champion. Ha, 100 cash just to be exact. I already know the reason that they hating on me, and it's a fact. Yeah, cause I got it like kicking down the door, hit them high and low. Had to steer the show like a criminal. Popping in my bag, it was pivotal. Carrying the mag like it's Vogue, case I'm in the mode. Setting the bar way high from the jump. Keeping the crowd pump, 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 pump. If you want a problem, get stomped. Up to you, come on, tell me what you want. Yeah, that's some peons. Yo, I run the game prime time like I'm Dion. Y'all be taking Louis Vuitton with no Vion. A legacy alive for eons and eons and beyond and beyond. Hold on, ain't no competition, throw the deuces to the ozone. Don't accept no truces so the rivalry can prolong. Yeah, I'm out here running laps on the track, gon' come at ASAP, cause I got it like boom. Kicking down the door, hit them high and low. One shot, had to steer the show like a criminal. One shot, popping in my bag, it was pivotal. Carrying the mag like it's Vogue, case I'm in the mode. One shot, setting the bar way high from the jump. One shot, keeping the crowd pump, 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 pump. One shot, if you want a problem, get stomped. Up to you, come on, tell me what you want. Never will I perish, never will I perish. I came to embarrass, I came to embarrass. I got everything I could ever want. Try to challenge me, yeah, I dare you. Got the rings of a champion. Ha, 100 cash just to be exact. I already know the reason that they hating on me, and it's a fact. Yeah, cause I got it like kicking down the door, hit them high and low. Had to steer the show like a criminal. Popping in my bag, it was pivotal. Carrying the mag like it's Vogue, case I'm in the mode. Setting the bar way high from the jump. Keeping the crowd pump, 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 pump. If you want a problem, get stomped. Up to you, come on, tell me what you want. Yeah, I drop down on the mat, you don't want it. I got grenades that go boom, you don't want it. I got the whole squad with me, you don't want it. Man, look at our bank account, it look good, don't it? I got my team right behind me in the war zone, they follow me. I need ammunition, I don't need no apology. I can smell the enemy, they hate, yeah, they gotta be. Wait, I think I hear him. Let's go! Kicking down the door, hit them high and low. Had to steer the show like a criminal. Popping in my bag, it was pivotal. Carrying the mag like it's Vogue, case I'm in the mode. Setting the bar way high from the jump. Keeping the crowd pump, 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 pump. If you want a problem, get stomped. Up to you, come on, tell me what you want.
That's the sound of your current hype level at the gas pump. But brace yourself for something fuel nominal, because Unleaded 88 is about to take the hype to a whole new level. Unleaded 88 is cheaper, cleaner, and greener than regular unleaded. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So pump it up with Unleaded 88, brought to you by Iowa Corn.
At Baker's Pharmacy, care is what's most convenient for you. Care is being here when you need us. We're open evenings and weekends. Care is helping you save more. Most insurance plans and discount cards are accepted at your local Baker's Pharmacy. Care is saving you time by managing your prescriptions online. You can request refills, check order status, and more. Care is convenience that works for everyone. Baker's, a world of care is in store. Services and availability vary by location. Age and other restrictions may apply. For coverage, consult your health insurance company. Visit the pharmacy or our site for details.